Hi guys, welcome back to the channel again. My name is Cuddy and I'm a content creator based in the UK. If this is your first time coming to my channel, you're very welcome, and if this is your second, third, fourth, fifth time, you already know you're the real MVP, and thank you for always tuning in to listen to me or watch my videos every time. Anyway, my last video I talked about my journey up until the time when I relocated to the UK. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my experiences settling into a new country. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoy making it and sharing my story with you. Please stay tuned, do not go anywhere, and I'll be right back. So when I arrived at the airport at Manchester, my brother-in-law gracefully came to pick me up from the airport. My eye bags were all over the place. I was crying and wailing and everything else in between. And so when I arrived, I had to hit the ground running. I was picked up at the airport. Now, please, as I make this video, as I tell the story, I would attach videos and clips of my journey all through, because I recorded these moments. So, indulge me and, follow through. Basically, it's just a story time, and come through with me. Anyway, so I arrived on the 27th and 28th of September. I had to get into class. So that day I left. My lectures was for 9. My sister dropped me off, got me to school. It felt like going to school or going to secondary school then, like boarding house. People that went to boarding house here, and then you have an elder sister in school, that kind of orientation, like she's taking you around, showing you this block, that block, and all of that. Anyway, that's an example of what I had. So she showed me where my lectures was going to be holding. In fact, we even entered there together. But before then, I had to go and check where I was going to pick up my BRP, which is my biometric residence permit, and my school ID card, really. So I went in for lectures. I think after like the first break, I stepped out with my document, obviously. I think my international passport, yeah. And I was given my BRP and my school ID. I of course asked questions about my daughter's stuff, how I was supposed to go about, and just told me to keep pestering UKVI. They had her BRP there. Like, it's so crazy, all of the things I went through. Like, they had her BRP there, but they couldn't give it to me because they needed to see her passport, showing that she had arrived the country, and stamp showing that she had arrived the country, also that of my husband. Anyway, so I left and I went back to lectures. We had lectures for the 28th, 29th, and the 30th. So I think it was on that same 27th, or it was the next day, it was the next day, 29th. So 28th was the first lecture day. The next day, 29th, I'll post my first outfit to lectures here, just the picture so you see. The next day, 29th, I'll also attach that. I got my BRP, I got my Q card. I applied for national insurance. All of this, like the national insurance, you can apply for it on gov.uk. Once you just log in, once you go to the gov.uk website, search for national insurance, and it'll show you the process of applying, and you can apply and wait for it. Basically, a national insurance number, you submit it every time you get a job. I think so, yeah. And then I had to also start up with like opening up a bank account. So yeah, those were like the first few things I did when I arrived in the UK. I couldn't register with a GP yet because I didn't have my own house. I wanted to wait till I had my house before I registered with a GP. So a GP is like a general practitioner, like healthcare center, something close to your house, close enough to your house, such that you can just walk in for your basic medical needs. So not the serious things, but the basic medical needs, just so you can have immediate care and attention. Anyway, so now to the course meal. On the second day, my program director comes in and is like, "Oh, we've talked about the course meal before, but if you'd like to attend, drop your names, blah blah blah," and had to talk about it. And I messaged my sister. I'm like, "Oh, see what's going on? They're inviting us to a course meal. What do you think? Should I attend?" My sister's like, "Oh yeah, sure, go on, attend. Socialize with people." And I'm like, "Great." I went. So the place or the location of the restaurant was really close to my sister's house. I knew it, so I knew that I could walk home afterwards. So my sister was like, "Oh, do you need money?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I don't think so. If it's that close, I'll just walk home afterwards." And the lecturer had offered to take us there, to drive us to the venue, so that I didn't need money. Usually then I was using my sister's card with some money that I had put in it, so to make expenses. But that day I just gave her the card and I'm like, I wouldn't need it. And that was a big mistake because hey, they embarrassed me. Not really, but yeah, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed on my behalf. So we went to this place. I have videos. I refuse to post that video because what the hell? Why would I post video of myself enjoying and then eventually getting embarrassed? But maybe I will. I'll attach some clips here and then I'll post that as a short, a YouTube short. Anyway, so we go to this very beautiful, nice Asian restaurant of Chinese. It was really small. It's a small restaurant on the high street, but it's really nice. The ambience was okay. We went there, sat down, and you had to. I think my lecturer had booked ahead, made reservations. We went inside and I ordered for fried rice. I just ordered for something I knew, and a drink. Other people ordered for whatever they wanted. So I had 2 glasses of drinks, and eventually at the end of this thing, guys, they brought bill. I was even telling my husband that this man has money. Maybe our school really gave him plenty money. I thought the school was sponsoring because they called it course meal. So it was a lot of money. I can't remember now, but it was a lot of money. I'm like, this man has money. Maybe our school really gave him money. This UK life, I see enjoyment. I was typing this and I was sending it to my husband. The next thing I saw this man doing calculation, and he split it. I'm like, guy, if let's say they split this bill, I don't get money. I didn't have any money on me. I didn't have cash. I think I just had my dollar card, but I wasn't sure if it was going to work because I'd never used it in the UK. I'd only seen it in Dubai. I'm like, hey, just kind of wild like this. I started messaging my sister. I started messaging my sister. Before I knew that this guy had said, everybody, £27, is that okay? Everybody's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. I'm like, how? Hey. Anyway, I was still composing. I was like, hey, fine girl, like, as soon as he embarrassed me for this UK, I now talk to the guy like, hi, Mr. A. Let's say his name is Mr. A. I'm like, I don't have any money with me. I didn't think I was going to be paying for this meal. He just said, come for Cosmate, not told me to carry money and come. And the man is looking at me like, sure you are okay. That was the look he had on his face like, are you alright? Yeah. He didn't say anything. Funny, he didn't say anything to me. He didn't respond. He was just looking at me. I think he was astonished. As astonished as I was, because where I'm coming from, my lecturer doesn't invite me out for dinner or invite the class out for dinner and then expects us to pay. It was weird. I didn't know. I think I would have expected it if it was a classmate inviting me. I'd heard about that, but cost meal, I felt university was paying, so I didn't think I had to pay. That's how one elderly, not elderly, just older than the rest of us, like, don't worry, I'll pay for you. I don't even know if that embarrassed me more, because it just made it look like I was just one hungry girl that came to eat. I didn't prepare, I didn't carry money. I didn't have a choice. I just said, sure, no problem, thank you. At that point, my son was messaging me, don't pay, walk out of that restaurant. They should have told you. If they didn't tell you, it's on him. It's his name that is on the reservation. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't walk out. Tell him you're not paying and walk out. I'm like, but they won't see me in class tomorrow. It's not as if I'm walking out and I'm walking out of their lives. I'll still go to class tomorrow. This guy is my lecturer. Everybody here are my classmates. How will I show face? The guy sharp paid, and that's how I went home in my head like this. I'd never been so embarrassed. And I'm like, if I knew, and I thought about, first of all, I would have budgeted. But if I also knew where we're taking us, I wouldn't have paid £27 for any silly meal, because guy, I'll just come into the UK. Like, I arrived the day before. I never make shebang. I don't have, like, how am I paying £27 on the first? Please, I would have just. And now that I think about it, a lot of my other classmates didn't come. It was mostly us blacks and a few other people, but most of my classmates did not show up for that dinner. And maybe they had an idea. Eventually, I spoke to one other Nigerian girl that was there like the next day, and she was like, that they told them on the induction day, and I wasn't there for induction. I missed induction. So that they took them on the induction day. That was the day I arrived in the UK, that they were going to pay for it, you know. But as she didn't think it was going to be up to £27. So she thought that everybody would pay for what they ate. So she was even eating grass and eating salad. She didn't even eat like proper food because she felt she would pay for only her meal. I'm like, say what? Me, at least I ate, but £27 was a lot. It was a lot for me. At the end of our of the model, which was 30th of September, they usually just now come and give you a list of essays to write, a list of essay topics, and then you pick one on the essay to write on that model. So we don't write exams, essays are exams. So you're expected to write a 5,000 word essay on that topic, on what you have been taught. Basically, just pick one. I think then my essay topic was should a health practitioner always tell the truth to their patients, and you know, just basically arguments around that. And that's the one I picked. See me going to read for essay. I was reading textbooks, this one, that one. If you're here and you're writing essay, just go and look for peer-reviewed articles. Those are the things that I should have focused on more. Right now that I'm looking back, I was going to carry textbooks and write and make exposition. I was describing. At the end of the day, first of all, I just had a lot going on. So that essay was something. I should have passed, but it was just something. Anyway, I'm struggling to write my essay, 5,000 worded essay. My daughter's passport hasn't come out at this point, and I've been in the UK for how many weeks now? It was still there. We were praying every day. Oh my God, I did not believe God in that way. I kept praying. My sister was praying. My brother-in-law, every time I went in the house praying every night. Ada's passport was always at the forefront, you know. And then when I call my mother-in-law back home to speak with her, Ada wouldn't want to talk to me. She would just, you know, as 1 year old plus, she was running around, having fun, blah, blah. She couldn't be bothered to stay on the phone. So the only way I would make her stay on the phone is if I start singing some nursery rhymes that she's used to listen, like, you know, all the wheels on the bus goes round and round, all this kind of stuff. And then she would stay and hear me and smile, you know. Those were the few moments, and it hurt me so much. Anyway, fast forward to her 2-year birthday. She turned 2 on the 7th of October, and I had taken pictures before we left because I wanted to have like professional pictures of her and the family. So I had those pictures which I posted. I'll attach some of them here. And so on that day, I tried to call her or call my mother-in-law so I could speak with her. And as I was calling, usually when I call her, I try to screen record because I'll be able to keep those videos and watch. And those were the kind of things that would keep me going then. And so I was screen recording and I would call my mother-in-law. I would attach the video here. And my mother-in-law didn't pick. And I didn't know when I just started wailing. Like, it was just like built up emotions on my inside. I just started crying. I'm like, what's going on? Why am I not with my daughter on her birthday? Blah, 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 blah. And then the devil will toy with you like, oh my God, are you sure what you're doing is the right thing? You're the mother, you should be at home with your child, blah, blah, blah. And I felt all shades of terrible that day. Anyway, that was 7th of October and her passport had not moved. I would go back to God and I would pray. Hey, what God cannot do does not exist. I fired UKVI. Okumonso, I don't know why I keep saying Okumonso, but oh my God, it was just between God, UKVI, myself, and the rest of my family that was praying with me at this time. Anyway, and for another, just to put it out there, she was in a really good place. Like every time I call her, she was fat, getting fatter. My mother-in-law was stuffing her with food. They were chilling, you know. So it wasn't as if she was in a bad place, but I was not just used to being away from her, and it wasn't by choice. Do you understand? It wasn't by choice. So it was just heartbreaking for me that period. Anyway, this keeps going on until, and in all of this time, I would send emails. Hey, the people at UKVI, they knew me. I would send emails, I would call, I would pester, I even typed letters that I mailed to them while I was in the UK. Like I was on their case. So much I feel like at some point they knew me, because anytime I called, they're like, yeah, we recognize you, blah, 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 we know your case, we have escalated, we will escalate, we will continue to escalate. I'm like, you have escalated for going to 2 months now, all the way from when I was in Nigeria. What are you escalating? Like, there are times when I will call and I will just shout. There are times when I will call and I'll have tears in my voice, and you know, it was mentally challenging. that period. It was mentally challenging for me. Anyway, so I moved on, and I would just keep putting work into my essay as much as I knew then, and pray and believe God that things were going to turn around. One day I was in the library. That was the 18th of October. I cannot forget. I can't forget. 18th of October. The 18th somehow has been a miraculous day for me since I moved to this UK. Anyway, 18th of October 2022, I was at the library that morning, and I was just normally, I'm like, let me just check. I would usually check it every morning and every evening, just as I feel. And I'm like, let me check, and then I just did. Pam pam, the thing had moved. It had moved from UKVI. It was coming back to Nigeria. I couldn't contain myself. I couldn't. I ran out of the library. I was on my way out of the library. I remember that I didn't have my ID card because I needed an ID card to leave the library and to come in. I ran back, got my ID card, ran out of the library. I called my husband. I'm like, he has moved. I called my sister. I'm like, he has moved. It was just such a good day. I was so happy. I was so excited. I made a video, of course, and I will attach the video on this clip. On this video, I'll attach the clip on this video. Today is the 18th of October, and I just wanted to keep this memo here, so to remember when I start vlogging or when I do a sit-down video of my journey to the UK, especially the first part where I had to leave without my daughter, or this part where I had to leave without my daughter. I just really want to thank God. I just want to thank God for today. Today is a good day. A really good day. My daughter's application eventually moved back to VAC from DMC. If you know what I mean, if you've applied for any visa, you know how the process goes on TLS website, where there's a movement from TLS to DMC receives it, and all of that, and then there's that long wait for 15 working days for DMC to make a decision and then send back your document back to VAC for onward release to you. In our own case, ours came in like about a month, but my daughter's own has been there for more than 10 weeks. That's 2 months plus. And today I just really want to thank God. It's 10 a.m. here in England. I'm currently in school, and I was in the library about some 45 minutes ago, and I just wanted to open up my books to read. And as is my usual practice, I'll read every morning before I start to read, sometime around 12 and sometime around 3, and then in the night again, and 6, and in the night again before I go to bed. And I just did it this morning, and he had moved. I can't tell you the emotional torture that it has been. I can't begin to tell you the emotional torture it has been to be without my daughter. I was just I was so grateful. God came through. Like, nobody can tell me anything. God is real, and God came through for me, and God came through for us all. Because that passport arrived in Nigeria that day. I think it got to us that same day or the next day, but we didn't waste time. And show you where that this passport had been through hell and high water. The passport came in looking squeezed, oh my God. I don't know where they dropped this passport. I don't know where they abandoned it, but it came in looking very squashed. Like, we had to straighten it, put it under mattress, put it under somewhere so that it would straighten out, because it came in looking Anyway, that was the whole episode. Now remember that before I left Nigeria and I booked our flight, she was yet to turn 2, so I didn't have to pay an extra seat for her. I was just going to carry her. Now that she has turned 2, the sun is coming into my room. Anyway, now that she has turned 2 and I have to go back to go and pick her, I have to pay for the flight for the 2 of us. I have to pay for her an extra seat for her, right? So I went back to Nigeria. I didn't even finish my essay at this point. I traveled back to Nigeria, and booked a flight for both of us to come down. I cut my hair again. By this time, I had come back to the UK with a clipper. I was going to be cutting my hair myself. Anyway, I cut my hair again just before I came back, and I had to remake her hair. And now we left Nigeria properly. Like, we took pictures, said proper goodbyes, took really nice shots. And even though that journey was one hell of a stressful journey, because traveling with a toddler is no play. Like, it was no play. It was stressful, but it was a good journey, because now I was reunited with my daughter, and I'm so glad that she's joined me now and we're here. And yeah, so basically, even though we spent a lot of money in that process, because of course now I had to pay for a seat for her on the flight and all of that, myself traveling to Nigeria and coming back with her. But I really thank God that she's here now. And by the time she came, I fell ill. I was writing my essay, she fell ill, and I even had to take an extension for 1 week to be able to complete my essay. Even the 5K was, I think I stopped out around 4,300. I was just done, and I submitted it like that. To the glory of God, I passed with heavy comments, but I passed. And we moved on from that first model. And yeah, that was basically my settling into the UK. I learned that if they invite you out for dinner, anything, I will ask questions, I will clarify, I will find out who is going to be paying for that meal, who pay for the water, who pay for the journey. I don't take such risk anymore. But I'm settling in, still settling in fine. And thank you for joining me on this video. On the next one, I'm going to be talking about my journey to finding a job, finding an accommodation, and basically finally settling in properly. And I think I'll round off the relocation vlog series or the relocation sit down stories in that video. So stay tuned and turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified when I post that video. And for this video, thank you. This is the end, and thank you for sticking and sitting with me through it all. I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it for me in the comment section, and I'll be sure to respond and reply to you. So for now, bye, take care. Please do share, like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.